Hello and welcome to the Matt O'Grady Coaching Podcast, mattogradycoaching.com. Today we're going to be talking about tapping into your subconscious mind. For a lot of people, that's like, what the heck is that anyway, right? Well, it's what is running most of your life. There's different percentages that scientists give, but some say it's like 98 to 2%. Some say it's at least 90% of the strength of who we are. So the patterns that are instituted within us when we're young, first 3, 4, 5, 6 years of our lives, some say even up to 7, 8, or 9, are essentially how we live our lives for the rest of all the decades. Unless we do some really serious, consistent, committed training to train the subconscious mind to have different thoughts, to believe different things, to create new, substantial, powerful patterns in our lives. We all know people like that, right? People who, we know all the stories, whether it's Tony Robbins or Oprah or all the different people that have lived who have overcome, whether it was poverty or pain or physical attack or, quote unquote disabilities, Helen Keller, etc., right? There's millions of these stories. So we all know it's possible, right? But to really change your life, at some point, you need to tap into your subconscious mind and be working with it. Brian Tracy explains it like this. Through your autonomic nervous system, your homeostatic impulse, this maintains a balance among the hundreds of chemicals in your billions of cells so that your entire physical machine functions in complete harmony most of the time. So that's right. You don't have to ask your brain to function, right? It just works. You don't have to ask your heart to beat, your blood to flow, your hormones to do what they do, right? Your body to work, your muscles, everything just kind of works. That's your subconscious mind. Breathing, seeing, hearing, tasting, smelling, touching. All of that is your subconscious mind. It's working nonstop your whole life, taking care of literally millions of functions daily. And we often don't even think about it. We don't pay attention to it. That's why I teach my clients to be grateful first thing when they wake up, last thing before they go to sleep, so that it's getting ingrained in your subconscious mind. It's called bookending. Do your visualizations in the morning before you go to bed, your meditations before you go to bed, when you first wake up, etc. That's why yoga is done first thing in the morning, right? So it's all those kinds of practices are working with the subconscious mind, affirmations, etc., prayer, deep meditation. So as you go through your life, your self-development process, your self-awareness practice, really thinking about how you're working with the subconscious mind and having a plan for it is really important. Most people don't realize that, the brain and the subconscious mind are really closely connected, and so important to understand how these aspects work in our lives. And it's really important to start to routinely create a plan to reinforce your greatest success, your happiness, your wholeness, healing your life, etc. So we're going to talk about some of those things here. It's going to be 2 parts because this is a longer presentation, if you will. So the first thing you have to do is be willing to see the change that you want to make in your life. Not just have it as this kind of wispy, amorphous dream, maybe someday in the future. You got to really create that clarity around what you want it to be. You need to write it down. You need to pray about it or contemplate it, whatever's the right thing for you. You need to solidify it in your mind so that it starts to work its way into your subconscious mind. If you keep it loosey-goosey, it's probably not going to happen, just to be honest with you. You want to have a plan, and maybe that plan's going to grow over time. You don't need to have everything all at once, today, yesterday, right? But over time, you want to really develop your vision for your life. You can't just jump from skeptic to wholehearted believer, right? It's something that you want to work with. It's like massaging it in. It's like working with the clay, Take some time. It's like building a sculpture. It's not going to happen overnight. And eventually, over weeks and months, that's really going to work its way into your subconscious mind and help you be a much stronger, disciplined, focused person in achieving everything that you want for your life. Another thing you need to do is give your permission to be successful. A lot of times we just regurgitate a lot of the old patterns. It's always something, life is hard, maybe someday, all those different things. And instead you say, I allow my life to change and to be good. It doesn't have to be this official affirmation that you repeat all the time. You could just be one statement that you really authentically and powerfully focus on. And that will start to become a thought. As the thoughts keep going, it'll start to become a feeling. And then over time, it's going to really work its way into your psyche, into your subconscious mind. And now you're going to be living your life through that pattern of success. So really important to make sure that you don't feel guilty about it, that you release all of those things that are in the way to you receiving your best life. And to explore it, you've got to take that time without distractions to really think about it, focus on it, contemplate it, meditate on it, pray on it, whatever it is. Talk to your best friend about it, or the person you really trust, your mentor, your coach, or your spouse, or whoever that is for you, girlfriend, boyfriend, parents, whatever, siblings, etc. Now, here's a really important one. Do not allow other people's opinions, fears, doubts, and worries stop you. Because that is the biggest crock going. You cannot let anyone else decide for you, even if they wholeheartedly disagree, even if it is one of those best people that you're close to, right? If you know in your heart this is what you want, you cannot allow them to stop you. Let their ideas about it stop you. That's really, really important. You've got to have the fortitude, the strength, the belief in yourself to follow through. But then you really need to do it, right? Because sometimes it can hurt a relationship or, make a problem, Lots of things in my life. I've made the decisions. People have been mad at me, hurt by me, think I'm crazy, doing whatever. And I'm glad I made every single decision that I did because it's made me who I am today. And I'm really grateful for believing in myself, even back almost 30 years ago, deciding to join the military. Even though I wasn't essentially a military man and it didn't work out for me, I became a disabled veteran. That is the thing, as painful as it was, that is the thing that kickstarted my life in a radically different direction. So I'm extremely grateful for it, even though it was hard and painful and sad at the time. It ended up being the best thing that's ever happened to me because it got me on the path of self-awareness, self-development. So think about it. Think about that. So now the opposite of the naysayers, right? You want to surround yourself with positive reinforcement. Really important to have messages, whether it's, placards or posters or Post-its, somewhere that you can see this positive reinforcement. I've been doing it, my God, for 2 decades. I still have really powerful quotes up all around me. Like one that I always have going is from Wayne Dyer. When you change the way you look at things, the things you're looking at change. Because the first time I heard that, probably almost 20 years ago, it just resonated with me, and it still does today. As we change how we're looking at something, it does literally change. It's absolutely amazing. So really important to explore things that we're aligned with. I have other things like it's not a quote, but it's just a question. What are you vibrating right now? And that's just, for me, really important reminder about what I'm thinking and feeling, which ultimately relates to my vibration that I'm sending out to the world, the energy that I'm sending out to my coaching clients, to my family, to my friends, to my coworkers, to my employees, to my colleagues, to the world. I want to keep that at the highest vibration as often as possible. And so that's really important to me. The positive reinforcement, the people that you invite into your life, the TV you watch, the videos you watch, the music you listen to. Is it uplifting? Is it positive? Is it supportive? Is it helpful? Is it in alignment with what you really want for your life? If you want happiness and joy, you shouldn't watch, horror movies all day long, right? Because you're inviting horror into your life. Just think about it. It's very simple, right? It's cause and effect. So as you go through life, make sure you're setting up all that positive reinforcement. The next one is to really think about what you want for your life as fact. You want to start seeing it as already happening. And we'll get into visualization next, but might as well just combine these 2 points. You want to see it as real. You want to see it as true. You don't want to be, I hope one day maybe. Just that kind of conviction doesn't get you far. When you're first starting, that's fine, right? Because you're just kind of feeling out what you want. And that's totally good to be hopeful at the very beginning. But over time, you've got to build that conviction, have that faith and belief in yourself, that confidence, that strength to follow through. I remember the first time I got on stage, how nervous I was speaking to people about these topics. I can remember writing my first book. I was so nervous about wanting to do it right and, all these different things. When I first started this podcast 11 years ago, I was nervous about, sharing my thoughts online. Here I am, 500 podcasts later and 11 years later, and I'm like, yeah, this is what I do, Just takes time, water on stone. And then you gotta really have that vision, back to what we're talking about with the clarity of knowing what you want. And now you have to visualize that. You have to see it in your mind's eye. You have to feel it in your heart and really strengthen the direction of your life with that vision, with that visualization. It doesn't have to be every day, but I'd say at least 2 or 3 times a week for even just 2 or 3 minutes. You just want to picture it. You want to know what it's going to be like. What are you going to do when you get there? Who are you going to be with? How's it going to feel? What are you going to see, touch, experience? Where are you going to go? Start visualizing all those different pieces, and things will just continue to move towards that vision that you have. But you got to believe in yourself. You got to have that confidence, that faith. You got to believe in yourself and your higher self, like whatever that connection to the subconscious mind, right? To circle it back to that, that's what this whole thing is about. You want to connect to the reticular activation system. Google that if you don't know what it is. It's really cool. I'm not going to go into it now. I've talked about it on a lot of other podcasts, but it's cool. So this is a wrap for now. I'm going to do part 2, but I think you get the idea. You got to be really clear. Got to know what you want. You want to give yourself permission. You cannot allow other people's fears to cast shadow and doubt. You want to surround yourself with positive reinforcement. And you want to speak your success as present fact right now. And then you got to visualize that fact, that success. You got to see it, feel it, experience it, and explore it. All right. Thanks for listening, everyone. MattO'GradyCoaching.com. More coming soon.